Well, hello, real life folks. This is Pastor Jim again, and I'm here to talk about a new subject today because we've been talking about all the things that we're going through together as a church, as a society, and now people are starting to use the word reopening. And it occurs to me, if you've had a sports injury, you can't get up the next day and run a marathon. There's a training process you have to go through in order to get ready to be back at full strength again. And so today with me is my friend Rob DuHaime, who's a personal coach, and he's going to help us think through what it takes to sort of rehabilitate ourselves if we've atrophied, if we've put on the quarantine 15 and we need to get back to life. He's going to help us start to think towards what we have to do to get ready. So welcome, Rob. Thank you for joining in.
Hey, thanks, Jim, for having me.
Yeah. Okay. So I know I'm not alone. People have been eating unhealthily, sleeping at the wrong hours, watching too much television, doing other kinds of bad habits. We're kind of worn down as a species right now, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So you've worked with people who have either had a down period where they've been injured or just haven't been healthy and then wanted to get healthy. This is your field of expertise. I'm looking to you to save the world.
Well, I'll do my best.
Okay, good. All right. So tell me what should we begin doing if we've been unhealthy and we want to get to a healthy place? What do I have to start doing? I assume it's a mindset kind of thing to begin with.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The first thing that everyone needs to do, if you're in a position where you're just like, man, I've really kind of squandered this time that I could have been working on myself or getting myself healthier, and I've really kind of picked up some bad habits along the way. The first thing you need to do is really kind of make up your mind of what you actually want. The number one mistake people make when they jump into a health program or a diet or whatever is they don't really think through the end result. They just kind of say, like, I'm uncomfortable now, I'm in pain now, and I just want to be better, so I'm just going to do whatever it takes, which is great. But if you don't have an end result in mind, when things get hard, what happens when things get hard and you're not very clear about what you're doing? You give up. And so to prevent that, what I really suggest you do is really think about, what do I really want to accomplish, and set your mind on that goal.
Okay.
And just try to develop a positivity and an optimism that you can actually achieve it, because the second mistake people make is believing that they can't. Believing it's impossible, I'm not going to be able to reach it. Yeah.
Okay. So what would be a good way to kind of name that? Like, what's the goal? I mean, am I saying I just generally want to be a thriving, happy person again, or is that too vague?
It's way too vague.
Okay.
Goals have to be specific.
Okay.
A lot of people will come to me and they'll go, "Hey, Rob, I want to lose weight." I go, "Congratulations, you lost a pound. You're done." Like you lose a pound, you're done. You lost weight. You have to be very specific about what you want, because with specificity, you actually create a lot of power around that, because now it's not just you're consciously working on it, your subconscious starts to work on it as well. You start to see opportunities to make that goal actually achievable.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's start with a category of like stress management. What would be a goal I could set? How should I go at that?
So stress management, a lot of it, we tend to look at our lives and we say, well, I want work-life balance. Well, I actually believe work-life balance is not possible. But what is possible is taking care of yourself. A big reason why we get so stressed out is because we prioritize everything and everyone above our own needs, right? And which is good to a certain point. I mean, like, I have kids, obviously I'm going to feed them before I feed myself. Like, that's like the natural thing that we do. But if you're not setting aside time to relax, meditate, pray, if you don't do those practices, then what tends to happen is you're always caught up in the current, right? It's like current events, current situation, current circumstances. And if you're always stuck in the current, then you're never controlling your canoe or your boat or your raft or whatever you kind of visualize there. So you have to really kind of set aside that time and say, hey, you know what, 10 minutes a day, I'm going to de-stress, or 5 minutes every couple hours. I'm just going to take a minute to breathe. Because if we get caught up in just the hustle and bustle of daily life, we don't breathe, we don't really plan for the future, and we're always doing what's in front of us right now, and it actually might not be the most important thing to us. So kind of getting into that mindset of, hey, I need to set aside some time for self-care. I need to set aside time for family. And that's another thing we don't do is, at the end of the day, how many times at the end of the day have you said to yourself, man, I really wish I had more time with family? Well, great news is you can have more time with family. You just have to schedule it. You have to make it happen. And for that, I have one rule: whatever, or I should say one principle, whatever's on the calendar gets accomplished. So okay. I schedule it to make it real. So take some time, breathe, meditate, pray, do all of those things. Read your Bibles, for the love of everything. Read your Bibles, and it's a great time to kind of really connect with yourself, connect with God, and allow that stress to dissipate.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So first step for stress management is budget time to address stress. Like recognize it, address it, plan habits around dealing with it.
And that's every day. Every day you should have 10 to 20 minutes every single day that you're just handling yourself.
Okay. All right, good. So now tell me about in the world of food and nutrition. What do I need to do there?
So the number one mistake that's being made in nutrition, especially when we're in this quarantine time, is eating comfort foods and convenience foods.
Tell me more about that.
Eating just like that, right? So everyone's stressed out and fearful about getting sick, but they don't realize that your nutrition plays such a huge portion in if you are resilient enough to stay well. So our nutrition plays into that. So we need to reduce processed foods. We need to reduce sugars. We need to reduce those things. It's good that I've seen a lot of people making more meals at home, which is fantastic.
Right.
But Hamburger Helper doesn't cut it.
Okay.
We need to be making things from scratch, whole foods, and we need to think. I love this. I teach this to every single one of my clients, is that, God made the earth, and the earth doesn't mess up food. Man does.
Huh. Okay.
Right? That God created the garden. It was Adam and Eve that ate the apple they were not supposed to eat. Right? So if we think about food in those terms, like when it's whole food, when it's not processed, when it's closest to nature we can possibly get it, that's going to be the healthiest for our bodies. Okay,
so I have a question. Where in nature can I find the Butterfinger peanut butter cups? Because these are so good. I'm not kidding. These are amazing. Okay.
Well, that's the Butterfinger tree. That's
what I need.
They grow in Willy Wonka Village. Like it's very, very good.
So do you subscribe to the whole, like, the juicing movement, where you try to commit yourself to fruits and ground fruits and blended fruits and all those kinds of things, or?
I actually don't, and the reason why is because fruits carry a lot of fructose, which is sugar, right? So if you're upping your sugar, it's not really a benefit to you. So we need to balance our blood sugar more than anything. That's going to help us.
Okay.
Especially like if you have the quarantine 15, if you put on the quarantine 15,
right.
What you'll notice is if you cut things like sugars, processed foods, and alcohols, and you just did that, you just reduced that or eliminated that, and you just stuck to whole foods. I'm not describing a very hard diet, right? It's actually a very easy diet, and you'll cut that 15 pounds in a certain amount of time. Maybe you put it on over the next couple months. You'll take it off over the next couple months.
Okay. What kinds of foods should I hone in on? Like, what would be really good foods for me to eat?
Good lean meats are going to be really, really good for you for protein intake. If you're vegan or vegetarian, think proteins without a ton of carbs, right? So you're going to be supplementing some pea protein powder or something like that if you're vegan or vegetarian. Eggs, nuts, lots of good vegetables, fruits, especially berries. I like berries because berries carry a lot of fiber, so they balance blood sugar very well. And then good fats, avocados, coconut oil, olive oil, making sure we're getting those good fats in there.
That's good. Well, this list is obviously from the Lord, because you did not say the word kale at any point in that list, and I'm thankful for that.
Amen.
not my favorite food. Okay. All right. So that's good. So focusing on diet, basically just cutting out the excess that isn't good for you, and maybe honing in a little bit more on some basic good nutrients that we know are good for us. It's not a radical revision. It's just some.
It's really not. It's really not. The number one mistake people make when it comes to diet and exercise is they go too extreme too fast.
Okay.
It's just, I'm eating processed food. I'm eating food out all the time, everything like that. I'm going to stop doing all of that. I'm going to make 100% of my meals. And as a matter of fact, I'm going keto. So I'm just going to cut out carbohydrates altogether.
Yeah.
And then they get great results, but they feel like crap. And it's because your body's detoxing and getting rid of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But they kind of interpret that as, oh, I've done the wrong thing. And then they give up.
Okay.
So in order to prevent giving up, you take small, sustainable, and safe steps. And that always produces better results long term, because the goal isn't to lose quarantine 15 and then gain it back again during the winter, right? The goal is to lose the 15 pounds or lose the 20 pounds or 50 pounds or 100 pounds that you want to lose, get your body into a good, healthy shape, and then just let your lifestyle keep you there.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, and doesn't sound unbearable.
No, and it's really not. I always tell people, like, especially my clients, it's like, let's make this as painless as possible, because that's what you're going to stick to.
Okay, good. All right, last one. What's a good exercise I can do in my home to begin to strengthen my body in order to sustain life on my 2 feet again?
So there's a couple things. Number one, calisthenics are always good. And calisthenics are just basically push-ups, squats, sit-ups, jumping jacks, right? Those are things you can do right away. But the number one problem that people have, and you'll notice this too, is because you're working on the laptop a lot, or you're working from your, like, I work from my phone a lot from my clients.
Right.
There's a rounding of the upper back.
Yes, I have that.
Which is a weakening of the upper back.
Okay.
So there's quite a few things you could do to actually strengthen the upper back. I highly recommend getting a very light resistance band, just like this.
Okay.
And if you don't have access to weights, you throw all of your personal development books into a backpack. Yeah. And you can actually use the backpack as your weight. Actually, as a matter of fact, my online fitness program, all of my clients, because they were stuck at home, they're like, hey, I can't get to the gym to do your workouts. I was just like, no problem. We're going to do 30 days, 30 workouts, 30 minutes or less with a backpack.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that's great.
You know, so the I have no equipment is not an excuse.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So give me an exercise. Give me a thing to do. I got the basic sit-ups, squats, but
yeah. So one thing you could do, if you have a weighted bag, which most of us do, right? I like to tie a little towel at the top here, and you hold on to that towel, okay, knuckles forward, and basically what you're going to do is you're going to bring it up underneath the chin, draw your elbows back, and you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. Just like that in the upper back, and then you ease it down the front of your body. You keep it close to your body the entire time. Just squeeze just like that. Bring it down. You do like 10, 15 reps at a time. Do that throughout the day. This one,
I've been doing something similar to that. I lift the cup of noodles up like this. It really stretches the back, and then I put it down, and then I lift it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what you could do with the resistance band, it's something called band pull-aparts. Okay. So you grab the resistance band, and you just pull that band all the way apart back. You again drive those shoulder blades together in the back, and then ease forward, drive it back, ease forward. That helps strengthen the upper back. And the last one actually requires you to get on the floor, Jim. So
okay, we're really going to get into this.
So the last one you're going to do, you got the upright rows, you got the band pull aparts. This last one requires you to lay on your stomach. Okay. Can you see me, Jim?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to extend your hands out.
Okay.
Thumbs up towards the ceiling.
Okay.
And you're just going to drive your hands up. Try to get your elbows past your ears. And then come down.
What if my elbows actually never leave the ground?
That just means that we have some mobility issues, and you need some private time with me. So
that's good.
So it's called YWTs. So you start with the Y right here.
Okay.
Then we do a W. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
extend the hands out like that, laying on our front.
Yeah.
You try to get the chest off the ground, drive the elbows back. And
Uh-huh.
then T is all the way out,
Okay.
just like so.
Okay.
And you do the YWTs, and that really helps with that upper back strengthening and the mobility of that spine, that region of the spine.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, that's great. That is excellent. You've given me some guidelines for setting goals for myself, for taking stress seriously, and eating healthy, and doing some basic exercises to get myself back in the groove.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what I needed. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you tuning in and coaching us. And you're available to coach people as they need it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. They can go to my website, reach out to me on social media. I'm everywhere.
Awesome. Good. Well, I appreciate your time today, Rob. This is great.
Absolutely.
Blessings.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Blessing to you.